Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you're joining me, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I'm not going to say, hey, we're trying to get to a certain amount of viewers. You know what? I get it. It's the off season. That's not really where the subscribers really grow. The subscribers tend to grow a lot more during football season. So if you want to subscribe. If you just want to keep getting it on Twitter or on Facebook or just hearing about it from somebody else or seeing where there's a third party that like reposted the video, I'm not going to hold you. Go right ahead. What I really have today is some fresh hate. And my fresh hate today really is lobbed at HBCUs as a whole. I have a saying that I use all the time, and my friends, my colleagues know I talk about it when referring to how we as Black people, as Black entities, as entities that are run and or supported, established by Black people, tend to not support or do things that sheds a negative light on other Black people. I try for the most part to not do that. If I have legitimate criticism, I say my criticism, but I don't pile on. I don't add unnecessary hate. For instance, my issue with Ben Simmons isn't because I'm like mad at him for what he's, because he's not LeBron James. My criticism of Ben Simmons is that he's essentially using something that we have now deemed to be important in our world, mental health, in order to scam people out of money. We can call it what we want, but he's scamming these NBA teams out of money. So that's legitimate criticism. But I'm not out here going, oh, Ben Simmons goes and hangs out with such and such. I don't care what he does in his personal life. My number one and only issue is what he does when it pertains to him as a basketball player. So when Deion Sanders came in at Jackson State, he said, hey, it's a new order. We got to do things differently. We got to shake up the world. We've got to be able to match not the other FCS schools. We have to put ourselves in the light of the FBS schools. And from the moment he stepped foot on Jackson State's campus, there has been hate. There's been hate from people on the outside, but most of the hate has come from other HBCUs, other HBCU programs, fans. First, it came in the hands of the spring season where Coach Prime was saying, hey, listen, we got a squad. We're going to be good, but a lot of our guys aren't playing. But still, we expect better. And a couple of teams were able to beat them. And boy, did they let them know. They really let Jackson State know. Oh, yeah, new era, yeah, all right, yeah. They let them know. Over the summertime, going into the fall, Jackson State fool's gold. I remember people saying, would Deion Sanders ever even get to a full season? I mean, would he ever get to a season? I remember them criticizing Deion. Hey, he's not really here for the kids. He's here for himself. He doesn't care about the kids. He doesn't care about the program. He doesn't care about HBCUs. He just cares about himself. Then we started hearing about rumors of him in talks to be the head coach at various other G5 or Power 5 schools. And people were like, see, I told you, he didn't care. Jackson State's the same old blah, blah, blah. I started doing some research because people said, Jackson State wasn't anything. But Jackson State has had some of the best attendance in the FCS long before Coach Prime got there. So what did Coach Prime do? He weaponized a fan base that was already there. He leveraged that fan base with a promise that he kept. Hey, we're going to get better talent on the field. We're going to get more eyeballs on this school. And no offense to Bomani Jones, who believes that HBCUs should operate like Ivy League schools. Unfortunately, these HBCUs don't have the bottomless endowments that these Ivy League schools have. So I don't know if that route's going to work. I don't know if they don't try to upgrade their ancillary things, that their academics are going to be able to sustain them. I really don't. He would know better than I. He's smarter than I am. He attended an HBCU. I did not. I have family members who attended HBCUs. I've been intimately involved in HBCUs or with HBCUs for a long time. I wholeheartedly support them. So, but he would know better than I. But I look at the equation of HBCUs operating like the Ivy Leagues operate, and I go, I don't know if that model is going to work when you don't have a bottomless pit of money to buoy you. Harvard never has to charge anybody tuition. That's how much their endowment is. That money will sustain Harvard regardless of whoever pays for school. That's a different level of bread. Same thing can be said for Yale and Dartmouth and Columbia. You get the right? Brown pen. I don't want to offend any of the Ivy Leagues. And so outside of that, Coach Prime says, hey, we want to make the facilities better. Guess what they've done? They've made the facilities better. We want to be a program that's on TV regularly. Guess what? They're a program on TV regularly. He's making all the moves that he should make in order to make this team great, in order to put this team on a map, in order for them to be able to ascend to the next level. But here's the thing that I like the most. Coach Prime came in. They didn't diss any other programs. They didn't say, hey, they suck. They're not doing it right. He said, we're going to do this at this level. And hopefully everybody else rises with us. He has gone out of his way to name coaches and players from other HBCUs who are doing great things. He's acknowledged them. He's put their names out there. He doesn't have to do any of that. And what has he gotten in return? Teams like NCANT, and I shouldn't say teams, I should just say bases like North Carolina A&T, who have hated on what Jackson State's doing. I saw a tweet that said, oh, Jackson State's 0-1 in the Celebration Bowl, and they get facilities and new facilities built. We're 4-0 and nothing. Well, how is that Jackson State's fault? Why are you blaming Jackson State? Because your administration doesn't want to invest in what you should be. North Carolina A&T fans ripping on Jackson State when they made a move to get out of the HBCU game, out of the HBCU conference game, They abandoned the MEAC. They didn't go to the SWAC. They went to a completely different, irrelevant conference, and now they're probably going to move to another conference outside of the HBCU when they could have went and took their talents to the SWAC. They could have taken those talents to the SWAC. They could have combined their forces. Hey, guess what? We're North Carolina A&T. We're the gold standard of HBCU athletics. Football team is dominant. Football team is dominant. Track team is dominant. Basketball teams are competitive. You have a track team that year in, year out goes toe-to-toe with the best collegiate programs in the country. You have runners who are going to the Olympics. And yet, where is the resources being funneled into the athletics program so that those track athletes can rise to another level, so that A&T can now recruit even better track athletes? Why is there a hate on Jackson State? Jackson State hasn't hated on you once. Why do we feel the need whenever there's an issue of one black person rising up, the other black people are there ready to grab them and pull them down because they want to rise up? That's the crabs in the bucket mentality. We've embodied that. We have to own that as black people. We have to own that, because it seems like at every turn, anytime we see a black person rise, there are a bunch of other people trying to pull that black person back down. Every once in a while, we get behind someone, but only when we know we have absolutely no way of ascending beyond them. And even then, there's always a few looking to pinch and grab and pull down. That crabs in the bucket mentality is real. The things that I see said about Jackson State, about Coach Prime, here's what you should know, right? Who cares how long he's at Jackson State? All of the things that he does while he's there will still be there once he leaves. All of the things he does there to improve the facilities of Jackson State does not move with him if he leaves and goes to another program. So whether he's there for a year, 2 years, 20 years, does not matter. He has already paid the price that he has said he was going to pay. He has already done the thing that he said he was going to make sure he did. Last year, no HBCU players drafted. This year, HBCU players drafted. Last year, no HBCU players invited to the scouting combine. This year, HBCU players invited to the scouting combine. It's him not just talking, it's him doing, all the while dealing with a condition that almost took his entire leg away. All while dealing with the condition that almost took his entire leg away. And even when he was dealing with that, you had people questioning his loyalty to the team. Oh, how could he be gone? How can he be missing right now? His team needs him. He's got to suck it up. Everybody was saying that until they saw that stump of a foot that he has left, because they took his toes, because they had to dig into the side of his leg to graft it to another part of his body so that he could operate as a normal human being. It's always prove it, and never just given the benefit of the doubt. It's always prove it with black people. And we have to be better, especially at HBCUs, because these are supposed to be where our best and brightest Black people are going. So if you guys can't use a little bit of discretion, if you can't give grace, if you can't give support for entities that are not directly in competition with you, or where it doesn't hurt you to build, then what are we doing? North Carolina A&T is dealing with a crisis right now, and they're worried about Jackson State. They're worried about Jackson State building athletic facilities, and they don't have enough dorms for their kids. What kind of sense does that make? Why are you mad at Jackson State? Why are you mad at Jackson State? It's not their fault. They're getting 50,000 people out in a game every game. That revenue is turning, so they're able to raise money to be able to build facilities. That's not their fault. And it doesn't affect A&T. It doesn't affect South Carolina State. It doesn't affect Alabama A&M. It doesn't affect Alabama State. All of these colleges and universities have the opportunity to do the same thing that Jackson State is doing. And in North Carolina A&T's case, they don't even have to worry about playing Jackson State because they play in a PWI conference. If we're not going to be better, right? If we're not going to be better than all of the people that we constantly get on and say, hey, you need to be better, then what's the use? If we're just going to do the same thing that other people have done over the years, then what's the point? We can be better. We should be better. And if we're not better, we're going to continue to get called out on the hypocrisy of our words. I've never wanted to be a hypocrite. And I don't know why any of you ever would want to be either. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree. But whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you check out that new Gene Therapy pod and column on CWN Sports. Make sure you check out my new column on The Athletic that should be dropping here soon. Love all the support. We'll see you all later. Peace.